What an opportunity. With opportunity becomes responsibility as well, and you're big on that, and to have that. What is this opportunity? What is this responsibility for you now?
Well, the opportunity, I think, is clear to be part of a city like Portland, a club here like the Thorns, with a winning team, a successful staff. That's really the dream. And people always say, "Oh, that's got to be stressful for a new coach coming in," but the alternative is being part of a club that's struggling and not doing well, and you've got to rebuild everything. I have to earn their trust. I have to definitely be clear on what I want to do and the direction I want to take with this team, but it's all an opportunity. It's an exciting one.
You've hit the ground running. I mean, we're in a spot now in the off season where there's moves, there's expansion clubs. I mean, you've been thrown right into the fray. How has that been, kind of a opposite of a soft landing, I suppose, in that regard?
Yeah, it's first, the growth of the league is fantastic, and two great cities joining, two great clubs. It can only help promote and grow this game that I love. The challenging part is we have a very successful team who have a lot of depth. So any new team is going to look at ours and want our players. So we will lose some fantastic players, and I know that already. And I'll just state as clearly as possible that my mandate is, to best of my ability, keep this team together and to fight for them, knowing that I can't protect everyone.
What an opportunity to be working with, coaching with friends of yours, former teammates, with Karina LeBlanc being the GM and with Christine obviously being what Sync is and what she means to this club and this city.
Yeah.
Another great opportunity to just have that knowledge and that background and to a whole new level for you guys.
Yeah, I think a lot has been made of the fact that we were former teammates. It happens all the time in the men's game, and I get asked a lot, what's going to happen if hard decisions need to be made. And the same thing for Karina. There is a power dynamic between the three positions. There's an advantage to knowing each other, knowing the clear conversations that you can have because the trust has already been built. But also hard conversations. But when you're really clear on what you're trying to do and the reasons why, I think it's just helpful. It is helpful to know people and to know that piece. But I'm not going to lie and say it's all going to be easy, just like it won't be easy for any conversation you have with any player when you have to maybe not give them the game time they want, or they're not traveling, or etc. These are all hard conversations, and that is, to be very honest, the hardest part of coaching. But also the most important part of coaching, which is the player relationships and how you handle the tough conversations.
So you came through here in 2015, your last year as a pro, injured right away, the one game you played for the red and white.
Yeah.
But what did the city mean to you? The limited time you spent here, it left an indelible mark on you, and you've called it a dream job to come back and lead the program.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was so unfortunate to come. I played, I think, 45 minutes, so I got a little bit of field time with Nadine on her team instead of playing against her. It was an exceptional end to my career, because even though I wasn't able to play the part in the club that I would have wanted, to really be able to deliver on the field, I was given a real glimpse of where women's soccer can go and where it's going right at the end of my career. And if you do talk about a legacy piece, I've been playing on gravel fields in Canada with no fans. I played in Norway and some of the bigger clubs with no fans. I played in England, where it's so popular, but still these small stadiums with not everyone in the seats. And then to end my career at a club like this, really highlighting where the game has come, where it's been, but also where it's going. It was a real probably motivator for me, and wanting to really continue that push and to make sure that it keeps growing and keeps being a world leader in so many ways.
Now, you wanted to teach. Coaching is teaching. You wanted to be an English professor? That's what you wanted to originally
I speak English. It seemed the most obvious.
Heard you speak French as well in the press conference.
I'm from Quebec, but any French speaker will know that I'm an Anglophone speaking French, but I'll do the best I can and try and ignore my grammatical errors as much as possible, but I'm proud of my French heritage, for
No
sure.
doubt about that. And for that part of it, too, to be close, you have a lot of family up in just Vancouver, BC. You can go see them now.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was a great time. Moving from Canada during a pandemic to go
Yeah.
coach in England, to come back. What's the significance of being back in the Northwest and being around the people that you love the most?
Yeah, my parents are both British, so being able to work over in Europe was also a wonderful opportunity, and I think an important one for my development as a coach. I did the same thing as a player. I left when I was young to come to school in the US, and then I played in Europe. So I do think it's important to continue to put yourself in positions where you're growing and pushing yourself out of your comfort environment. We say that to players all the time, but we actually don't really do it as people, as the staff. So I was glad to be able to do that, although hard. Being back closer to home is really important to me right now. There's obviously the pandemic, which made a very small world feel really big again. It was really hard to get around, health issues within my family, but also, my nieces and nephews are growing up. My siblings have so much going on. To be able to connect again with their families and to be a part of it is really important to me and special. And I'm very pleased that if I time it right, I can get to Vancouver within the 6 hours. Otherwise, it will be the 10 hours I experienced heading up there this last week.
But at least you got there and got back.
Exactly.
There's a progression, right? The continuation of what Mark helped build here for his 6 seasons that you'll be picking up and running with and making it your own, but very much the foundation has certainly been laid.
Again, I keep bringing up Mark's name because I do think it's important that I highlight the very unique opportunity he gave me, which is I came in when he was still here. I was in the background, but he gave me an opportunity to be mentored, to hear about his philosophies, to learn about his staff without having to sort of arrive and rush and make decisions. I could just sit back and watch and learn from him, one of the best the league has ever had. So absolutely, coming in here, it's important that I recognize the important work that's being done, the great team that's being built, the wonderful staff that's already put together, and I continue a lot of the great things that are happening while bringing my own influence and mark, which sorry for the pun, leaving my own impression on the team and in my beliefs and my systems. So yeah, I look forward to getting started with that.
Puns are good. We enjoy them. That's kind of my bag. Growing up in Quebec, though, what was it like for you? How did that help shape the person you are today?
Yeah, it was tough. I was in a fully French school. School was not easy for me. I have a wonderful full brother and sister, and I have a step brother and 2 sisters. Very strong academically. For me, school was more of a challenge. The French system was tough. Looking back now, I'm very, very glad that I have a bilingual education that I left when I was 16. So I definitely don't get to practice my French as much as I'd like. But I am also glad, looking back, that I struggled a bit in school. I recognize that everyone learns differently. There's different ways to teach, and that is a lesson I learned because it wasn't easy for me, but also because I'm a twin. I think my sister flew through school, and it was a very early lesson in the dangers of comparison. And that is how I like to teach. One fullback is not the same as another fullback. Uniquely, players have their own strengths and need to be nurtured in those. And I learned that very early on growing up in Quebec, but also with a sister by my side the whole way, where we were very, very different, but often compared by outsiders who didn't know better.
Identical twins?
Absolutely not.
Okay. She lives in Vancouver now?
She lives in Vancouver.
Okay, very cool. We heard about that. We all have a little hobby. You're a knitter, and you knit because you want to be just vegging out from the TV. You want to be able to.
Yeah, I feel like I need an excuse. But I have very random hobbies. I play the cello. I'm horrible at it. I've had decades of lessons, and I'm still so bad. The knitting, I am so stressed out that literally can't put the needle through. It's unwearable, but at least I can say I was productive while watching sloppy TV at night,
And you're into gloves, glove making, that's what it is?
Hats first and then gloves, because I can start with an adult male glove and end up giving it to any children I might know.
Obviously we see the banners here, the shields, the championships. We're coming up on the 10th season here in NWSL. You were there from the start with Boston. Where it's come, where it can go, what is the future of NWSL?
Yeah, I would say this is the reimagining year, where for this almost 10 years now, this league has survived. And a big part of those survivals are clubs like this that have really invested in the women's game and backed it and recognized the potential that there is in the game, and now it's making sure other clubs are doing very similar things. I know they often use Portland as a model to try and emulate. So, Louisville, KC's new stadium, now we've got LA coming in, San Diego, Orlando Stadium. Like, I'm not disrespecting the teams that don't have those yet, but I know that that's their ambition. That's where they're trying to get to. And I do think this next decade now is making sure that the very real issues that have existed for the last 9 years of this season are being addressed so that the NWSL can be a world leader in this. Because I'll say it again, the problems that we've had, major issues, are everywhere. They're everywhere in the world. It's not just in women's soccer either. It's a power issue that is a blight on this game and in sport and in business and in teaching and in so many areas where this stuff is still existing. And I want to be a part of that change, and I want to try and make this club an example of what it can be when we look after the player and the person at the same time.
There's a lot of time between now and that first match of 2022.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work in the way. Yeah, you're getting so excited
There's not
about
enough time. There's so much to do. So I've arrived right before the college draft, right before obviously the expansions. There's a lot to happen, plus preparing for preseason, making sure that I've got all the plans in place. It's going to go so quickly. And I also have to recognize that last season took a huge toll on the players and the staff. I have to appreciate the amazing work they did, trying to give the staff and the players the rest that they need in order to come back ready to go in 2022, while also taking care of the little things now so that we're not underwater come January, where the players start coming back and we get geared up again for the next season.
A lot of work to do between now and then. In the meantime, if you do get a day off or an afternoon off when you're back in Portland, what's the day off activity?
I'm quite a big hiker. I do enjoy that, but for the moment it's trying to find somewhere to live. So my days off are I've now found somewhere to live, but I have no furniture. So I will be sleeping on an air mattress until the stockpiles in the stores have come back, because everything's been sold out from Thanksgiving. So very poor timing and poorly organized by me. So my time off will be trying to find livable furniture.
Well, hopefully your back's okay by the Christmas season still.
That's the dream.
Rhian, that's what we need.
Thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you.